Alright folks, and welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Don Father and this is hashtag AFL Couch Chat. You're very welcome to the brief chat that we're going to have. I appreciate it's a little bit late on me uploading this video. I couldn't get doing it earlier on, and also it's a little bit late for uploading a video for people in Australia, because most people will be in their bed right now, but you'll see it tomorrow morning. So no problem anyway. Just going to talk to you a little bit about some breaking news within the AFL today, which will be yesterday for you when you actually get seeing the video. Obviously, Ross Lyon has been sacked from his position as head coach at the Fremantle Football Club, Fremantle Dockers Football Club. Was it something that needed to happen? Probably. Was it a bit untimely? Like, could they have just waited to just get rid of him whenever the season was over and there was no more games left? I think that would have been probably a more kinder and professional thing to do. However, there's no doubt in my mind, if you look at the sort of players that the Fremantle Dockers have got available to them, the quality that they possess, they're definitely underachieving, and a lot of that buck has to stop at Ross Lyon's feet. I know that in the game he's considered to be one of the better defensive coaches, but when you've got quite a lot of flair players at your disposal, a lot of players that can turn it on, Sonny Walters, obviously they've got players up there, Brad Howe's another one that gets up and down, they've got Matera, they've got a list of players that can play attractive footy and go and win you games. And they're not being used, or he's not getting the best out of them. Whether or not that's because he's a defensive coach, I don't know. I've not been following the sport for long enough to judge that or have an opinion on it. But I certainly feel that from the Fremantle Dockers that I started watching a few months back to the one that we've seen the last few weeks, they've lost their way a little bit. He seems to be clueless. A lot of people thought that him playing Sandilands and the other boy, I forget his name now. But anyway, the two legends at Fremantle there, and at the second last game of the season, you would imagine, for the Dockers, was pretty stupid because they weren't going to win anything playing them. A lot of people's opinion was they were too old, they shouldn't have been playing. But when you've got great servants of a footy club, they deserved a send-off. I don't personally believe even if they played or didn't play, the Dockers were going to get into the top 8. So it was just a nice thing to do, really, wasn't it? In terms of him being sacked, possibly think it was the right move. I don't like calling for any coach's head, but I think when you look at Fremantle Dockers, they were stagnating. They weren't going any further. A lot of their supporters were keen to remove him from his position and try something new, bring in fresh ideas. But next year, I definitely think with a new coach, there might be with a new style, new ideas on the game. With the current players they've got, well, maybe a couple of new additions to the squad. They could be a very, very good team, the Dockers. But all of that will remain to be seen next year. Sometimes new coaches don't prove to be a good, but you never know what you're going to get. That's sport, isn't it? So he's been sacked. Another coach whose job seems to be untenable right now is Hinkley at Port Adelaide, but he has said if the Power don't get into the top 8, then he will resign. In my opinion, he will be resigning then, because mathematically it can happen, but it probably won't happen. I don't see the Port now getting into the top 8, which is a shame really, because they actually are a good side, but they've underachieved. They've only got themselves to blame. Inconsistency has been pretty much the word that you're going to have to use when it comes to Port Adelaide. They've got the quality to go out and beat most teams in the AFL and then go and get beat off a lesser team than them, even beat off bigger teams than them and then go and get beat off a lesser team than them. But the writing was on the wall for Hinkley for me after the Brisbane Lions game, when just before the game he announced to the media that his tactics were to concentrate on Lachie Neale and nullify him and stop him. that was amateur. Not only did he say the tactics out loud that that's what he's going to do to the media, which is a big no-no in sport. You don't show your playing hand in any game, do you? And that's what he's done. But worse than that, he's went out there with that game plan. It's not worked. Brisbane Lions have blew them away. Just off the top of my head, I think they lost 8 goals before they got one. No, they scored one or something. They got 8 goals conceded in that first quarter. They got completely blew away. They focused all their efforts onto Lachie Neale, and that left every other good player in Lisbon Lions with a free rein to do what the hell they liked. They went out and blitzed them in that first quarter. Not only did he make this shocking decision tactic to go out there and do that to Lachie Neale and announce it to the media, he was too slow to realise that it wasn't working, and he didn't make a change. So it was amateur as anything. The whole thing was really amateur, and he looked lost when they kept putting it on him. Like, what's he going to do now? I mean, Lachie Neale was getting hugely roughed up in that first quarter, but he just took it in his stride and got on with it and proved why he is shooing really for the Brownlow medal this year. It's between him and maybe one or possibly 2 other players who should get Brownlow come the end of the year. But I can see a coach wanting to do that, but you don't announce it in the media that you're going to do it. It's a schoolboy error. It's very amateur. But to not recognise that it's not working, or to be too slow to recognise it's working, and then not make the relevant changes to your tactics or players in certain areas, was poor. But from that point on, I really think that the Port Adelaide's been really all over the place. I just think there's a lack of sort of like the fans and the club right now. It just seems to be not in sync. I think there was a statement put out there a week or 2 ago by the board that we need to get back to the board being in and the team being on the same wavelength as the members of the club, and building that relationship again, because that's what they pride themselves in, is the relationship between fans and club, and that seems to be lost. But I think removing Hinckley or his resignation could be one of the first key steps into achieving a better relationship. I think the Port Adelaide fans will be frustrated this year. I think they should be top 8 with the team that they've got. The way that they've played at times, they probably should be top 8. They'll be disappointed, bitterly disappointed they've not made it. A lot of it falls at Hinckley's feet, and also the board. I think there's going to be changes at the board. Some sort of chief executive in the background anyway. I'm not too sure what their position is, but there's going to be changes at board level as well, from what I believe at Port Adelaide. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at these 2 clubs in the next week or 2. It is a shame seeing coaches that are not bad at their job losing their job. But I think it's probably right for both footy clubs that this happens, because they've got potential to be far better than what they are. And Ross Lyon in some ways is a bit of a football dinosaur. Yes, there's no questioning that he's probably achieved and done things in the game that a lot of people will see as a success, but it's stagnating. There's no fresh ideas. He's got no ways of changing it. And in actual fact, in sport, when you stay still and you don't improve, you actually go backwards, and you start to go backwards at a quick rate. So it's up to the Fremantle Dockers to make the decision, and they've made the decision to remove him. I probably would have gave him the last week before I had announced it, and then announced that he will no longer be the coach. But as I say, Ross Lyon, to a lot of the players at Fremantle Dockers, I personally came out on social media and thanked them for the part he's played in their career and how much of a great guy he is. That's not in question here. I don't know about him personally, off the footy field, of course. But, when the players are coming out and sort of standing up and saying thank you, you can tell that he's a good guy. It's just not worked out this last couple of years, obviously, at the Dockers, and they've decided the right decision is to change their head coach's position. So, good stuff anyway. This was part of the gift, obviously, the Western Bulldogs t-shirt yesterday, which I did surprise gift that was sent to the channel. And this was another one, the AFL Magnetic Ladder. I've put it on a wee board just for holding up here. Obviously, the order as it stands right now, the Brisbane Lions being top, beating Geelong at the weekend by a point, an absolutely unbelievable finish there. Gold Coast Suns taking their well, just wooden spoon position, no doubt about that. I'll just talk about a couple of things that I've seen. Obviously, Western Bulldogs have got themselves into 8th, which was fantastic over the weekend. 1 to 8, 7 places there are already guaranteed. Obviously, 7th spot and 8th spot could change, but Essendon are guaranteed to stay in the top 8 now after this weekend. That won't change. Those 7 teams are in the top 8. Western Bulldogs aren't mathematically safe yet. A win for them would see that happen. They're playing the Crows at the weekend, so that's going to be quite a big game. Crows have got a chance to obviously get themselves into the top 8 as well, so they'll be fired up there. Hawthorn's got a chance. Port Adelaide have a chance. I don't think a lot of things have to go their way for that to happen. It's not mathematically impossible, as I said, but I don't think you would bet on it happening. 2 teams that have been kind of improved. David Teagues obviously took the permanent position there at Carlton, and they got the win, which was great for Carlton fans. I think they've improved massively since he had took up the role as head coach, even in a temporary position, but now being permanent, getting the win for him. First game would be an absolutely fantastic feeling. St Kilda, obviously, they're doing not so bad as well with their stand-in head coach. He's doing a good job. North Melbourne had a huge win, didn't they? At the weekend, they're doing all right under Shaw. Sydney Swans is a team that I feel that Buddy Franklin's injury has really upset things there. They were playing well with him when I first started watching the game. I thought Sydney Swans are actually playing really good footy. The position in the table, I think at one point they'd got themselves around 9th or 10th. The position didn't see, when they were sitting down at 14th, got themselves to like 19th or 10th. Or 19th, 9th or 10th in the ladder, and I thought that's more like it now. This is the Swans starting to put a push on. They're actually starting the ladder's starting to reflect the footy they're playing, and then he get injured, and they just sort of plummeted back down again. I know one man doesn't really make a team, but it certainly can have an effect on sort of performances, can't it? I think he's been a bit of a blow there, him being out. Obviously, the Brisbane Lions will want to finish the ladder in top spot. There's a few teams that could finish on top before the finals. So all in all, I'm really excited about this weekend's footy, what's going to happen, but it's particularly down to the 8th spot, what's going to happen there. That's what I'm excited about, really. And a lot of other teams just playing for pride this weekend and ending the season on a little bit of a positive for certain teams. But I'm really excited. I can't wait. Last week before the finals, let's see what happens. It's time for teams to now. It's make or break for certain teams in and around that 8th spot. I think the Bulldogs will keep 8th, but let's see what happens. I'm really excited, as I say. This is one of the caps that we're selling on the channel. Merchandise, Flex Fit hats, prices £18 sterling, whatever that converts to an Australian dollar. T-shirts are going to become available very, very soon. Polo shirts, sorry. They start at £20, so whatever that converts to in Australian dollars. I have got baseball caps that are adjustable as well, starting at £15. Again, convert that to Australian dollars. I can do all that for you and give you an overall price with postage and packaging, because I've actually posted a couple items now. I know prices for that. So if you're interested, do leave a comment in the section below. And don't forget to check out our other social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and also Patreon, where you can become a patron of the channel. I have a bronze, silver and gold package. Gold package, after 3 payments, will get you a free baseball cap sent to you for being a gold member of the channel. They're monthly payments. If you're interested in doing that, check that out. And also I have a GoFundMe, which is basically runs in sync with sponsoring the AFL mullet. I'm growing the mullet for sponsorships. That'll be in the description below as well. And don't forget to subscribe and put the notifications bell on. And also share the videos, guys, and share our social media pages to help the channel grow. That would be greatly appreciated. We're never going to stop doing AFL stuff. So if you're enjoying the AFL stuff, or indeed Australian-based stuff, please share our content. That helps massively too. Thanks very much again. I am the Don Fowler. Peace everyone, and goodbye.